Okay. Couple things. First thing is, I love to get everyone's paperwork. And I have to get everyone's paperwork. So two ways to do it. You can put it on Moodle. There's a folder to download, or you can email it to me. Some people have already emailed me their stuff, which is fine. I don't care how you do it, as long as I get it. The grades for if this is your last class, then what usually happens is, so after next week, when I turn the grades in, whenever they enter the grades, that'll, you will be able to get your transcript probably within a week of that. Probably normally you'll be able to get your, like, if you want to go ahead and apply for your, like if you take an exam, you want to start the application process for your license, you can usually get your transcript within a week or so of that. I think there's still hard copies, I'm pretty sure, but you should be able to do that. If you're LMFT and you're moving on to Prac 3, then none of this matters to you right now, but it's going to matter to you then. That's how you'll get your stuff then. The other thing that you will need, and I've talked about this before, there's a state form that you'll need to fill out, and it's in your application package. When you go to the state site and you start filling out the application, there's a form that they're going to want us to sign. And so you're going to email that to Gina Termenstein in the Academic Services office, and but if you email it to her and it's not filled out, she'll send it right back to you, because you have to fill it out. She just gets it signed. That's it. That's literally telling the state that you completed your practicum. That's all the form is, right? So you'll send that. There's a new thing that came up in our faculty meeting that I had never thought about before, but I want to ask, are any of you thinking of or already moving to another state? Like you might get licensed in another state potentially, or anything like that? I'm just curious.
I'm thinking about it. I haven't made a final decision yet.
Okay. If you do that, one of the things that was brought up, and I had never thought about this, the paperwork that you turn in to me, keep a copy of it in case that state wants it for some reason, to make sure you've completed your practicum for some random reason. I don't know that will happen, but I would keep a copy of it. Okay. Sure. The other thing is, when you guys take your test, do your application, you start your associate hours, starting to get your hours, make sure you keep a copy. When you turn everything in, make sure you keep a copy of everything. Like you want to document everything. I know that sounds, maybe that's old news, but make sure you document all your hours, your CEUs, what kind of hours they are, where you got them, the dates. You want to document all of that stuff. Okay. I just did one. I don't even know where I put this thing. I think I kept it on a hard drive somewhere. I just kept all my hours on a spreadsheet. I'm trying to find it. I'll show you what I did. Nah, I can't find it. I think I have it on a hard drive. That was like 3 computers ago. But you want to keep everything documented. Oh my gosh, this is my first one I ever did. So here's what
They
I,
had computers then?
yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I couldn't resist.
Very funny. This is my final hours that I did. This isn't all of them, but I transferred some. So like I had a total running tally. So I had another spreadsheet that had a bunch on there. So all the different places that you can gather hours. So I had several places I was gathering them at different times. So this started back in 2010, went all the way to 2014. This was my total. Like I brought this to my total so I could have it. So when I did it, I had 1,415 hours. So I did 1,884 total therapy hours. That was direct hours. So I did almost 1,900 hours when I was done. So I kind of kept it. See, I kept everything individual, relationship, and supervision. I kind of kept everything separate. So you can do it that way. There's multiple ways to do it. There's apps now you can go. There's probably like forms you can use. My point is, I think it's good to choose some way that you do it and just keep doing it that way. Like choose whatever way works for you. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you think about it, like 3,000 hours total, those are just my direct ones. Those aren't count my non-direct. Like when you think about it, it's like that's a lot of hours, and that could take like that's 4 years worth of mine. Like think about it. You got to have a way to keep it organized, right? So it's not like you're doing this over a semester or 10 weeks. It's like a couple of years, 3 years, however long. So pick a way that's going to keep you organized and do it that way. Does that make sense? I started thinking about this at the faculty meeting, mainly because we were talking about people going to other states. Sometimes those states want even your practicum hours. So make sure you guys are keeping a copy of those. I don't know that you would ever need them. It's probably fine, but just in case. But for sure, when you start getting your actual hours, you want to make sure you have everything documented. That's really important. That part. Okay. All right. Man, I haven't looked at that thing in a long time. Okay. So I talked about turning things in, hours, tracking stuff. Anybody have any questions about any of those things or anything? Anybody have any questions?
Dr. Bedard, where did you say that form was that we have to send to the school?
It's on the state site. So when you start filling out your application, that'll be on the checklist.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called. It's a state form though. I just can't remember what it's called. People send it to me, like students send it to me first,
Okay.
and then I'll just tell you to send it to Gina.
Okay. Thank you. And that's after our exam or after we graduate or before
that's part of what you turn in to get. That's part of your application for your license.
Gotcha. For the associate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you spell Gina's last name, please?
Yeah. Here, I'll put her email address in though.
Okay, thank you.
Hang on a second. She emailed me today. Yeah, you want to keep that name. So when you go to get your license, your associate license, that'll be one of the things that they'll have you turn in. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. What else? Any other questions about any of those things? You guys have any license questions at all, like anything about the process or?
My supervisor has been out for a while, but she'll be available tomorrow. Can I email everything tomorrow?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just try to get stuff before week 10 because week 10's comes fast and it's crazy, and I just like to get it because I can't turn your grade in, or you can't get your transcript until I have your hours. Especially, I have to have those because we keep those.
And just to make sure I've got it in my head right, I got my hours during Prac 1. So for Practicum 2, we didn't need to track anything for LPC, right?
Yeah, you didn't have to.
Okay, because it doesn't benefit us really.
I mean, you're just all I need for you to do is turn your hours in. So if you got all your hours at Prac 1, then
Okay.
you know what I mean.
I just
Like, if you
attached
got,
them again, so I didn't know because I'd asked, but yeah, I guess anyway. Okay, cool. Thank you.
I have a question.
yes.
I'm at like 780 direct hours, like some insane number. And even though I have to do Prac 3, do I need to continue like counting those hours, even though I can only do like max 700? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do I need to turn in hours for Prac 3? Should I just go ahead and keep calculating those hours?
Just email Dr. Johnson. He teaches that class.
Okay.
To ask him what he says to do. My assumption would be no, but just check with him and make sure. As long as y'all can document that as long as you can document your hours, that's what matters, right? So if you got documentation, you could have finished those hours in a week, or it took you 20 weeks. As long as you can document those hours, that's what matters. Because what that tells us is that you're done with your practicum requirements. And we can tell the state they fulfilled their practicum requirements. That's why we need those hour sheets. So Kaylee, I would just email Ken Johnson and ask him that. He'll probably tell you don't worry about it, but just to make sure.
Okay, because I get like 40 plus direct hours a week, so it's just some insane number.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You need to share with other people how you get 40 hours every week.
I work as an ABA therapist with children with autism.
Okay.
So I get minimum 8 hours direct a day.
How many of those are relational?
I've been doing family guidance. We get 2 hours per family a month, and we have 16 families. So I've only gotten like, I think I have total 52 or 53 family hours. So I'm going to have to continue counting those, but I just have so many direct hours, so I didn't know.
So the ones you have that are direct, the most of is individual hours, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not relational.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. That's like if you work at MHMR. If you get a job at MHMR as an associate, you can finish your hours in like 18 months. I had several friends that did that because you're basically working 40 hours a week and you're seeing people the whole time. So it's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's my hope.
Just ask Dr. Johnson what he wants you to do. It sounds like you're going to track the relational ones anyway. So yeah. Okay, cool. Any other licensing kinds of questions? Somebody, Dawn, are you doing LMFT? Where'd she go? There she is.
Here, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you still have to take if you're doing LMFT, you still have to take Prac 3, no matter what.
Yeah, I know, but I was asking, do I still have to, I'm taking the LMFT, but I'm currently, hold on, I have my spreadsheet. I was at In my Prac 1, I was at 200 and because I was working at the center, which I was doing family and marriage therapy counseling. And in my Prac 1, I was already at 245 hours.
Mhm.
This one, I'm about to turn in my spreadsheet to you. I worked at the Phoenix House this practicum,
Mhm.
and I am at 440 hours. This one. So I'm
Okay.
already at, and so for Prac 3, I was wondering if I have to do internship hours now that I'm at 440 hours. So do I have to do
Yeah, I'll tell you the same thing I told Kaylee. Talk to Dr. Johnson about
Okay.
that because he teaches the class.
Yep.
So
Okay.
he'll be able to tell you what you need to do. The other thing is you can count,
750.
you know, a lot of those hours towards your licensure, and that's a big deal.
It is. Yay for us.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Thank you,
You
Dr.
de-
Bird.
you definitely have to take the class.
Yeah, I know that. Trust me. I'm
Yeah, that's but I understand. I mean, there's been other students before that have finished all their hours and, you know, fairly quickly, but unfortunately you still have to take the class. That's a state requirement. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions about any of those things? Okay. How do you guys feel about graduating?
Yay.
Ecstatic. It's like, finally.
Yay, yay, yay.
Somebody
Yeah,
else
kids
is
in the
excited in the
background.
family. Somebody in the family is excited. Yeah. All right.
I got my packet yesterday from Hadari, so I'm so excited.
Oh, good. Yeah. Is anybody nervous? Or are you just more excited?
I'm nervous about taking the test next
Yeah,
month.
yeah. And Dr. Bedard, you said you studied for about a week? And I've heard everything ranging from study 2 hours a day for 3 months to you're studying a week.
Mm.
And that's scary, you know?
I started studying. I have the book and I started studying. I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of stuff in this book I don't remember. And I'm happy you asked that. What you took it years ago. It's stuff in here that I don't even remember, Dr. Bedard, at all. It's so much stuff in this book. I started making cue cards. It's a lot. And I know 2 people that's already taken it that's already failed.
What book do you have?
This one, I'll tell you, I got it from Dr. Johnson. He gave me his book. This one. And I'm
Oh.
already on page 165.
I'm
And
gonna give you a better resource than that. Hang on.
I have this one.
Yeah, I think that's what you want right there. Hang on a second.
This
I'm gonna
is
hook y'all-
expensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook y'all LMFT people up. Hang on a second. Bear
there's
with
so
me.
much in that book. I'm like, what the
I am the same way. I'm on page
God?
185.
You in this book? You had the same book I have?
No, I have this one. The green book.
Okay, that's the one that's the $500 book. Dr. Johnson told me not to get that book. He gave me the $55 book.
Oh, this was 180.
Okay, well, he gave me he gave me this one, and it's stuff in here I don't even remember us learning in class. But then again, I started this degree in 2012, so yeah.
All right. Here, if you're not an MFT, don't worry about what I'm about to put in the chat. So y'all go to this website right here. You'll have to create a username probably.
Huh.
That's a national prep. That's the prep for the exam.
I'm writing it down.
I would check that out. There is a practice test at $65 that you can do as well if you want to.
Did you do it?
I didn't. I use I use the material I just sent y'all, the link. I just use that and studied for, I studied for a week. But I was in the middle of my class. It's a little bit different. This is a little different. Y'all's experience and mine is different because I went through a cohort in lockstep. So we took like certain classes every semester and everyone took the same one. And then when we got to the back end of our last semester, we all studied and took the exam. And so it's a little different than what you guys are doing. But I treated my master's program like a job, like an 8-to-5 job, basically, because I had kids and wife and job and blah blah blah. So that's why I did it that way, and I just couldn't afford to study for forever. So that's what I did. You guys have to find out what works for you. Do what works for you. That's what I would say.
Well, I'm gonna do what you did because I can't afford to fail because I can't. So I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, you guys will do. I have a feeling you'll do well.
Well, thanks for the confidence and thank you for that. And I have the link and I'm saving it right now.
Yeah, that's the Texas Marriage and Family Therapy homepage. So that's a good
Thank
place
you.
to go. Yeah.
I've now saved it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Okay,
for that.
now for everyone else, some people have already taken the exam, right? I feel like no one's already taken it
I have mine this weekend.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Have you been studying like a lot?
Well, I work full time, so I fit it in at night when I can. I'm taking quiz after quiz and taking notes. So hopefully that'll be enough.
How are you doing on the quizzes?
Anywhere from 40 to 60%. So I'm nervous.
Okay, would totally bypass what I said the people I know failed, okay? Because they may be just idiots. So yeah, totally bypass.
Well, I
that.
figure if I fail, you know what? In 90 days, I can try again. So
Mhm. I'll tell you the people that failed, they said they feel much more confident now that they've taken the test. I will tell you that. Because now they know what's on
Yeah.
the test, right? So
that's why I wanted to go ahead and get it done, just to
Mhm.
rip the Band-Aid off the first go if I have to do a second one.
they feel much better.
Dawn, have you applied for it?
No, I was gonna take it literally the week after graduation. Because the test, there's one in April. And I was gonna apply for the one right after April because Dr. Johnson, everybody says to give yourself 3 months to study. So it's now February, so 3 months is in May. So I was gonna take it literally the week after graduation. That was my logic.
How are we already halfway through February?
No, we're almost done with February.
Yep, so 3 months, so February, March, April, May. So I was literally gonna walk across the stage on the 19th and whatever that test is after April 23rd, whatever that next test is the test I was gonna take.
Have you applied for graduation?
I literally got the packet from Hadari yesterday. See, it's already filled out.
Right.
Are any of y'all going to walk at graduation?
Absolutely, it's my second graduation. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't want that pen. I got the watch last time that don't work anymore. But Dr. Bedard told them they can do us better than the pen. So
I graduated my undergrad in 2020 in May, and I didn't get to walk because of COVID. So
I
This will be
graduated in
my-
18 with my first master's, and they gave us a watch, and it doesn't work anymore. So I heard they give pens now. Is that true, Dr. Bedard?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
You don't go to graduation?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't get a diploma. I already got my diploma.
Well, supposedly y'all give out pens, and I'm like, okay, I want something better than a watch, and a pen is not that. So
Yeah.
like a writing pen.
yeah, that's what they said. I'm like, does it have Swarovski crystals in it? They're like, stop playing. So
Well, you talking about Harvard or something? This is Amberton.
What? Swarovski crystals is Harvard?
Y'all
Stop.
talking about something different. I don't know what y'all talking about. Listen, I graduated, thank the Lottie. That's what I graduated. When I graduated, that was it. I was done. I walked across stage. I was fine. I didn't care what they gave me.
Well, Hadari said no, most of the time they don't, graduations don't give anything, so that we
No.
should have been happy with a pen, but you know, I
I
was
don't think-
surprised without, I mean, I love my watch until it stopped working, so, and this
Yeah.
is my second graduation from Amberton, so I don't want another watch, I can tell you that much, so.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. I don't think they do anything.
What?
Wow, you get a diploma. What do you want a watch or a pen for?
You gave me a watch, you have to step your game up, you can't go backwards.
All these generations are weak, man. Y'all soft. Y'all got to get a bunch of stuff. Got to give you prizes and presents.
Yes, I paid for this. This is my second
You
master's.
paid.
Yes, I
You
want
paid
something.
for You paid for a diploma.
Oh God, I'm not a millennial. Trust me.
I didn't
I'm
say
not,
that. I
I'm
didn't
not,
say
I'm
that.
not highly entitled, but I do want something. This is taking a lot. I'm old. You know how difficult this was to get this degree?
I do. It was hard.
So yeah. Oh goodness. But
So how many other people are going to walk in May? I know it's in May, but
May 19th.
I'm walking. Yep, for sure.
I am too. Walking.
I won't be there. It's my son's 16th birthday, so I won't be there, but I'll be proud of you anyway.
Thank you. Yeah. My daughter
Um,
graduates her 18th, her graduation is the next week, so I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah. So y'all, so yeah, if you get I turn grades in on, what's next week? I turn grades in on the 25th, I think, or 6th. You should be able to get your diploma you probably should be able to get your diploma that week, the week of the 27th, if you need to.
How is that done? I mean, is it mailed? Do we go pick it up, or what's up with that?
I think you can do either one. There's a,
Yeah, I think you choose. It says on here. It says on here if you want to $10 if you want it.
Oh, that's right.
Mailed. Yeah.
Yeah, you either pick it
Okay.
up or you pay $10 extra or something for them to mail it.
That's right. I forgot.
Mhm.
Where did you
Yeah.
get that packet?
I asked Adari to send it to me. So you just put advisor at Amberton and then just ask them to send it to you.
Kaylee, you can go on the website under forms and it's there too.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah. So I
I
just
feel like I'm
asked.
unprepared, but I wasn't planning on applying until next class. So
yeah.
Yeah,
You're,
the first
Okay.
week of class. You have to apply by the first week of next session.
Mhm.
but you can apply like now, as early as right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
then
guess
may
so.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, and you can do it online and just put your credit card number in, or you can go up if you want to just take the packet up there to the campus either, and then pay the $125 on campus.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes,
woo,
you're welcome.
$125. That's a lot.
I think it's always been, when I graduated 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that's the same amount. And then it's like literally 6 pages because you have to do a whole, what do you think about Amberton and how did we do? And it's like 6 pages that you have to fill out.
All right. Well, speaking of, and I do this with every class, I'm going to do 2 things. We're going to do 2 things tonight. First thing is, I like to get feedback from students exiting Amberton to ask a couple of questions. And so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to do kind of like a little send off that I usually do with every class I work with. We're going to do both those things. And then I'll stick around after that. I'll stick around if you have any questions or anything. Most time people don't. Most time people are just ready to go. But here's what we're going to do first. I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms, and all I want you to do with each other is two things. I want you to first congratulate each other. That's very important. All right. Second, I want y'all to talk about your experience of Amberton, good, bad, or indifferent, because I'm going to ask about that, because I like to know, you know, how we do. And but I want it to be, I'd like for us to have constructive conversations, not criticizing conversations, if we can, right? So there's a big difference, right? So if we critique something, we're giving helpful hints or like trying to help someone grow. If we criticize it, we're being judgmental and breaking everything down and kind of being a little more bitter about it. So I'd like for it to be, you know, critical, take a critical look at it and give honest feedback about it. That's from this class all the way to your, you know, first class, everything about it, the whole experience. Okay. And I'm going to let y'all talk with each other a little bit for, you know, a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to talk with you about it. All right. So I'm going to put y'all in groups. And go.
And then that
Sorry.
you're okay. I have a coworker that she's kind of been stuck in the ABA realm. To me, being an RBT is not something that's forever. You kind of have to like, it's not a position you can grow in. So she knew she wanted to go back to school. She just wasn't sure for what. And I spoke and speak so highly of Amberton and the MFT program. And she is starting at Amberton in March, starting her MFT journey. So
Good. That's awesome. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Another thing that I liked that we didn't actually mention, but so much is offered online as opposed to brick and mortar, you know, because I'm way over in Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, so it's quite a commute. And I only actually had to go to one class, and it was mixed. What's the but
Hybrid.
virtual and hybrid?
Hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so that was super, super helpful.
Good. Awesome. Good. Did all of you, some of y'all did in-person classes, didn't you? Because I know I had some of you in person. Yeah. Okay.
I will say, and see, I'm the complete opposite. Again, I outside of my practicums, every last one of my classes were in person the last 10 years, and I love in-person classes. Yeah, I would say, except for counseling ethics. No, I even think that one with Miss Moffitt. That one was in person. Yeah, we went in person for that one too. But I prefer my learning style is that. So I prefer in-person classes. So that's just the way that I learn better. So I love that they allowed. And I'll tell you, when I first started, again, back in 2012, you had to do, I think the counseling classes had to be in person. It wasn't until probably COVID that they transitioned them to where you could do them hybrid or online. But when I first started at Amberton and 10 years ago, all the counseling classes had to be in person. And I love that about that. That's what I loved about Amberton, is that they were in person.
Good. Okay.
I definitely prefer in person, but my geography and my time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that at the time I lived in Plano. And so the Frisco campus was my favorite, even though it was only like 3 classrooms, but I loved it. And I don't know if you've ever met Dr. Hibbert, but like I'm obsessed with that man. So like I loved like staring at him. So it was just like him and Dr. Johnson over there at the time. Well, him, Dr.
Mhm.
Johnson, Dr. Johnson. So like I loved being around them and it worked perfect.
Good, good, good. What else?
I shared in the breakout room that the schedule being so flexible, I never could have done a program at all right now because I have 4 kids and that span 3 schools, and the flexibility of it has been really great for me. And then when COVID hit and so many of the classes were online, I was able to just kind of plow through.
Yeah.
One thing I wish was a little bit different is that I work at a treatment center, at an addiction treatment residential treatment program, and all of the other interns are from UNT. And their knowledge of theory and the amount of time they've spent and the depth they've gone into that is way more than we've had, I feel like. Like they can just talk circles around, like I can't even, compete with that. However, I don't think I would want to go through the grueling process that they've gone through with a lot of that stuff. There's no flexibility with classes, and there's one way to do things. You can't miss a practicum class there. So it's a lot more rigid. I think they have a much better grasp of the theory. And as I'm studying for the LMFT exam, I see there's tons of stuff on there that I've never even heard of. But the good news is I can learn that now before I take it. So
Well,
that's kind of,
yeah, you guys you guys aren't in an LMFT program though either, right? Like if you'd have done an LMFT program, you would have had different classes too, for sure. When you're talking about theory, can you tell me what you mean? Like, talk to me a little bit about that, like the knowledge of theory. Can you help me?
like the counseling theories class that I took at Amberton was an online class. And it was a lot of just reading and, writing papers about it. There wasn't a lot of discussion.
Okay.
I can just, even just some of the more basic, like even the just Gestalt, whatever theory, there's someone at the treatment center where I work who loves that theory. And they spent weeks talking about just that one theory.
Okay.
And that way for a lot of it, they just kind of go down the line and talk about the same theories that I feel like touched on, but they've talked about it in depth.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if in the end that really matters, but I think what it has done for them, when I went to write my portfolio paper, for example, I had a really hard time deciding on what to write about. I think in their case, the way they do their portfolio paper, they write it and kind of rewrite it, but they have so much more discussion about the theories. I think they all have kind of said that they're able to identify one that they really feel strongly about after talking about it for so long. I don't know. That's just kind of what I've heard them say.
Yeah. One thing I will say about that in terms of like knowledge of theory, which is good. There's a difference in models of therapy and theories that models of therapy are based on. Those are different. Those aren't the same, right? So,
right.
So we can have a theory, like attachment theory is not a model of therapy, right? It's a theory that would guide emotionally focused therapy, which is a model. So I think to your point, knowing the theories is important, and you will definitely, when you're studying for the exam, there will be lots of theory question type stuff there for sure, and you'll see that too. I think one thing that, and this is something I was going to talk about this later, but you guys will figure out what your model, like what you like what you gravitate towards. That's what y'all are about to figure out now as you get out. So, but I appreciate you talking about kind of the depth of knowledge of theory and discussing it, like having discussions about it and being able to kind of point things out. I think that's good. That's good information. Really good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. What else? And it can be things that you wish were different, right? Like you wish you would have got more of, like maybe more discussions in theories or like things like that. Like it can be, I'm looking for any kind of, anything that could be helpful.
Yeah, can I share one more thing?
Sure, absolutely.
So the other thing that I think I just had these last couple of months to visit with these students, these other fellow interns. And one thing that they've done, which I actually don't want to do because it sounds really intimidating and terrible, but they do their internship at their school.
Yeah.
Everything gets recorded, like they go over it. And while I don't want to do that because that sounds terrible, what I think they do come out with that, which I think could be accomplished a lot of different ways, is they have a really clear picture when they come out of a lot of different ways to do a therapy session and what it looks like and what different styles look like. And I struggled with that when I started at my first site, which is, I'm still out, but it's a private practice. Just there's not a lot of opportunity for that all the time. Like I kind of went in a little bit blind, which was scary. I just wish, I don't know, even if it was just watching sessions, which I did a lot of looking online and doing that, but even just kind of going through some of that more logistical stuff more. I mean, I have figured a lot of it out, but I would have felt more confident going into practicum with a little bit more of that. I don't want to get it the way that UNT does it. So don't get me wrong, that sounds brutal. And the students I work with, they complain about it and how hard it is. And even at our practicum site now, they record like sessions with actual patients at our facility and bring it back. Which I don't want to do that either. So
yeah, I did that
anyway.
My master's and my PhD.
Yeah.
And I was recorded and watched by all my cohort, and supervisors would call in while I was in session. I'd have to answer the phone and they would say, ask this question or do this thing.
Yeah. I see the pros and cons for that, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have a downside of our facility in that we don't have a clinic on site, right? So if we've had a clinic on site, you could start seeing clients while you're in the program, which is probably what they do, I'm sure. Okay, good. But I think what you're saying is like some way to get more practical experience, like in a session, leading a session, that type of thing is what I'm hearing.
And even just observing it, I guess, just seeing it. On the other hand, like other people have said, the tuition is unmatched. You can't find another master's program anywhere for the price that Amberton is.
Right. Good. Okay.
And I think we're in a different place too. A lot of us are older, coming back to a second career. And so it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's really helpful. Good. Anyone else? How do we like silence? We do okay with that?
I have a question that's about supervision as an associate.
Yeah.
I want to continue with the clinic I'm at, but I had forgotten that some clinics charge for supervision.
Yeah.
Mine does. And I just thought, are there places out there that won't charge for supervision, or is that pretty standard?
I think it's pretty standard, but I'm sure you could find some places. Bigger facilities probably wouldn't charge because they wouldn't probably need to. It probably depends on where you go, but some places you give a percentage to the clinic and you get charged for supervision. That happens too. But I think some of it depends on the size. Like where McKinsey's at, like at a treatment facility, you probably get free supervision at a place like that, more than likely. Like if it's a bigger place. So it's out there for sure. One thing I will say is like for LPCAs, hospital systems have been hiring a lot more LPCs and even LPCAs recently. And a lot of them would you would get supervision with a lot of those places too. So that's just something else to think about, because you get a lot of hours at places like that. So to answer your question, the short answer is yes, they exist. The long answer is yeah, you kind of have to find them, and probably it depends on the size of the facility. Probably, yeah. How much do you know? Do you happen to know how much they charge by any chance? You do.
300 a month, 300, but yeah, they take a huge percentage also.
So
So I
that's
think
$75 a week.
A lot. It's a
So
lot.
$300 a month plus a percentage. You pay a percentage. What's the percentage you pay?
Ouch.
I'm embarrassed to say, I'm
Is
really
it 50?
less.
You pay 40?
I get less.
You get 40? And you pay 60? Oh, okay.
I just don't, you know, I mean, I'm embarrassed after finding that out. Y'all are the first people I've shared that with, because I think, gosh, wow, you know,
Yeah.
here we are, students, we just paid all this darn tuition. We think we're gonna finally start to get something.
Yeah.
Well, like Dr.
makes you-
Bedard said earlier, MHMR, I mean, they're pretty large, and they've got a lot of facilities. And for instance, I've already got a supervisor lined up, and that's free. And so perhaps working for, you know, like Dr. Bedard said, a large agency, you know, something like MHMR.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed about that. That's not your fault.
No, but you know, I guess I had my hopes up. I was gonna, you
Yeah.
know, it's an ideal place to work, but gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's why
Yeah.
they like the practicum students. They're willing to train them, but
Well, they know they don't have to pay them
right, exactly.
too. So there's a little bit of that probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you how to find supervision. If you go to a little bit bigger spot, most time it'll be included for sure. But you can also find supervisors that charge less than $75 a week too,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Any other questions or comments about anything? Okay. All right, here's what I want to do. This is going to mean you're going to write something or type something. I don't care if you write or type, it doesn't matter to me. You're going to do a little exercise for me. And this is sort of similar what I sometimes do with clients from time to time. It's adapted to fit you guys, but what I want you to do, I'm going to make you use your brain for a second. For about 5 minutes, I'll make you use your brain. I want you to think back to when you started classes, whenever that was. Okay? And from that time until now, I want you to list out as much as you can remember, as much as you can think about. List out every event, milestone, thing that you went through, experience between when you started and now. Like COVID would be an example, right? COVID, that would be an event, right? I want in anything you can remember. You might not remember everything, but from when you started until now, when you write down everything you can remember that you experienced. Could be anything. It could be academically related, could be personal, could be at work, could be anything. And I want you to write it down, and we're going to make a list for yourself. This is just for you. This isn't for anybody else. We're not going to tear it up and set it on fire or anything either. You're going to keep it. I'm going to give you about another minute. Most of the time we don't look back over what things we've done. A lot of times we don't, especially when you're busy in school. You don't have time because you're working, you have families, you're in school, you're studying. You don't look back. So that's what this is for. We're going to look back for a second, but for a reason. I want you to think about a couple of things. I want you to, underneath that list or to the side or some way, I want you to kind of maybe write down what you learned about yourself. Not what you learned in class, what you learned about yourself. Okay, now we'll get to the therapy question. How does it make you feel looking at that list? How does it make you feel thinking about what you learned? And this time, any emotion's fine. I don't care what it is. Right, I want you to write down any emotion you have. That's what I want to know. I want to know what emotions you feel as you look at the things you've accomplished, done, the events that have happened as you've finished this program. What feelings, what emotions do you have? Only if you're comfortable sharing. I just would like to know.
I said, I feel scared, but ready.
Scared but ready. Okay. Yeah, good. Nervous? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Maybe excited too then.
That's what I put. I put nervous but proud.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
I put that I'm grateful.
Grateful. Okay. Good.
I feel relief. Like I almost didn't start the program, and now I think this is it. Like it's over, you know, like the time
Yeah.
passed and it got done.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Good.
Accomplished.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, kind of a non-arrogant confidence, you know, so I got a lot to learn, but I have learned a lot, and kind of satisfaction in that accomplishment that goes along with it, with the perseverance,
Yeah.
getting things done.
Right. Right. Now you look at that list of things that you experience. That's not an exhaustive list, by the way, right? That's not every single thing. That's not the day in, day out. That's the things you remember. You look at that list, and then I want you to think about what you were able to accomplish in spite of things on that list. You think about it. And what does that say about what you're capable of? That's what I want you to remember. What you're capable of. Not what you can't do, what you can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See, I feel proud of you right now. Very proud. I don't know all of you, and I don't know anything on your list, but I know it was difficult. COVID was enough to make it
Amen.
difficult. That was like, we could have just done COVID, and that was a big enough list. Right? So your experience is what gives you wisdom. Your education is what gives you knowledge. Your heart is what gives you empathy. And your resilience is what gives you strength. And you guys have all of those things now. You have wisdom, you have knowledge, you have empathy, and you have strength and resilience. You have all of those. You've always had them, by the way, but now here's what you can do. And this is what I tell my clients, and this is very important. That's why I'm sitting up. This is black and white with proof that you have all those things. That list is proof that you have all those things. There's no thing that can ever tell you you don't have those things, because you have all those things. That's proof, right? We need evidence sometimes in our life to tell us, because sometimes our brain tells us the opposite. Sometimes our brain will discount what's called discounting the positive, right? Or we'll filter out the positive. That's not what we're doing tonight. We're talking about black and white. This isn't rainbows and horseshoes and unicorns. This is truth. I'm talking about truth. These are things that actually we could point to. We know that they're true, right? You have knowledge, you have wisdom, you've learned empathy, you've learned strength and resilience. We can't argue that that's not there. It's true. You need to remember that. Does that make sense? is very important. Very, very important for you guys, because you're going to go through other things now, right? From here until whenever, you're going to go through other things. Well, you've already learned how to go through. This is really hard to do as an adult, going back to school or working full time or having kids. This is hard. It's not easy, but you did it. And nobody can say you didn't. So I want you to remember that. That's very important. And remember how it feels. Right? So lock that in. That's very important. Very, very important. All right. So don't burn the list. Keep it. It's important. All right. Okay. Now you should go and run and be free and go eat dinner or go to sleep or I don't know, something. Study for the exam.
Ah, there you go.
So I'll tell everybody, if you guys ever need anything, just let me know. We're all about to be, colleagues now at this point. I don't know if you thought about that, but that's what's about to happen.
And that's another thing that I appreciate from Amerton is the willingness of the professors to offer that after graduation. That means a wealth to me.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Now you can run and be free.
There's some things in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even look at that. The forms, I love to have the forms this week. I love to have the forms quick. This little exercise we did, y'all can do this with anybody, what we did. This is just, I do a version of this with my clients a lot.
I was already thinking about using that. That's a powerful piece. I love it. Nice.
Yeah. All right. Hey, some of you, well, most of you are done. I'm sorry, MFT people.
Okay.
We're just more resilient than everybody else. That's all it is.
Hey,
I just wanted to be at school for a little bit longer.
I know. I would email Dr. Johnson about like what you need to do or not do, because if you're pretty much done, because you might get a lot more, because you only need 75 relational, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'll stick around if you guys need anything, but other than that, y'all can, leave and go home and do something, whatever.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Dr.
Yeah.
I have a question. Well, not necessarily a question. I emailed you and written something on the chat, the Moodle chat or something. I'm not real familiar with every piece, but I was not able to find I did my own personality test, but on the assignment, it said that it was something that was email, and someone in the office had me to reach out to Dr. Hebert, to see why my name wasn't on the list. Like, some kind of way they identified that I wasn't on a list to get an email about the test. So
don't worry about it. That's not even a grade. That's just for them. So it's okay.
Right. But it had to do, I think it was connected to the assignment.
Yeah, but if that assignment is just for you guys to turn in, it's not even a grade. I don't even count it as a grade. It's just something I give them. It's something we give every class to fill out for our data that we turn in. So if you didn't do it, it's okay.
Okay, but the other piece is important, just the reflection. Okay, because I thought that was part of it. I needed to be able to connect, because someone was telling me, well, I think you have to have an Amerton ID to get. I was like, and
that's too much trouble.
I know you all are extremely busy at this time.
Yeah, that's too much trouble for you. Don't worry about that.
Well, bless your heart. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Thank you. And I did get my hours in the previous, but I'll just resubmit.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for
You're
all
welcome.
you have done and that you do. I love that
Yeah.
assignment. I will use that assignment, that exercise, probably even
Good.
on family members. Thank you so much.
Good. Good. You bet.
All
See ya.
right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.